guys ever wondered what if Deku gets reborn with all his memories and powers? Do you think he'd be able to save Shigaraki and prevent All For One from destroying everything? In this video, we'll discuss 3 alternate timelines in which Deku gets reborn with all his memories and powers. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. Deku's story ends after the final war. The world is saved, but the cost is heavy. Too many people were lost, and too much pain was left behind. Even after everything, one regret stays in Deku's heart. Tomura Shigaraki, a boy who was never saved in time. When Deku dies, fate gives him a second chance. Deku opens his eyes and realizes he's been reborn as Izuku Midoriya again. He's a baby, but his mind remains fully intact. He remembers the war, One for All for One, and Shigaraki's entire life. Even more shocking, One for All is still with him. Not weak, not dormant, fully mastered along with all the stockpiled quirks. From childhood, Deku understands one thing clearly. This life has one main goal. He must save Tenko Shimura before he becomes Shigaraki. As a small child, Deku pretends to be normal. To his mother, he's still quirkless and clumsy, but in secret, he trains carefully. He uses low levels of One for All and practices the other quirks in places where no one can see him. He doesn't rush. He knows exactly when and where Tenko's tragedy happens. Deku remembers the rain, the streets, the ignored child. So, when the time comes, Deku leaves his house quietly and follows his memories. He finds Tenko alone, dirty, shaking and crying. His family's already gone. The damage is already done, but Tenko himself is still alive, still reachable. This time, someone stops. Deku doesn't run away. He doesn't look scared. He kneels in front of Tenko and speaks calmly. He tells him that his powers were activated by accident, that it wasn't his fault, that he's not a monster. Tenko looks up at him in shock. No one's ever said those words to him before. Deku takes him to safety. He brings him to adults and heroes, but this time, he doesn't let them ignore Tenko. Using his sharp words and confidence far beyond his age, Deku makes sure Tenko gets help. Work counseling, therapy, protection, not isolation. All For One is watching from the shadows, just like in the original timeline, but this time, things feel wrong to him. His danger sense never triggers because Deku blocks the path. The opportunity's gone. The boy he wanted slips away. Tenko's saved. As the years pass, Deku and Tenko stay connected. Tenko grows up with support instead of hatred. He still struggles, but he learns to control his quirk. He learns that heroes can protect instead of abandon. Deku becomes his first real friend and later, someone he deeply trusts. Without Shigaraki, the League of Villains never forms properly. All For One still exists, but he no longer has a successor. No symbol of hatred to rally behind. His plans slow down. When Deku reaches school age, things change quickly. He saves Bakugo during the Sludge Villain incident without hesitation. All Might notices him earlier than expected. Deku reveals part of the truth and earns All Might's trust. One for All grows even stronger. At UA, Deku stands out immediately, though he holds back when needed. The USJ attack is weak and disorganized. The sports festival's dominated by Deku. Villains fall apart faster because their core never existed. Tenko chooses the path of a hero. He trains hard and eventually stands beside Deku, not as Shigaraki, but as Tenko Shimura, someone who was saved. The final battle against All For One happens earlier than expected. Deku and Tenko fight together. When All For One tries to manipulate Tenko, it fails. There's no hatred left to control. All For One falls for good. The world changes quietly after that. Hero society becomes more aware, more careful, more human. Deku becomes a symbol of hope much earlier, but this time, he's not alone. And Tenko Shimura will never become a villain. For the second timeline, things will be a lot different compared to the previous one. Deku finds Tenko just moments after the family tragedy. The street is quiet and wet from the rain. Tenko's shaking, scratching his head and crying in fear. Deku kneels in front of him and speaks softly, trying to calm him down. He tells Tenko that it was an accident and that he's not a monster. He reaches out hoping to help. Tenko can't control himself. The fear is too strong, his quirk activates again, and decay spreads up Deku's left arm. From the elbow down, his arm crumbles away. The pain is unbearable, and Deku screams. Tenko panics when he sees what he's done, and he runs away as fast as he can. All For One's already waiting. He sees everything happen from the shadows. He notices how Deku arrived at that exact moment and how clearly he spoke. He realizes that this child is dangerous and knows far too much. From that day on, All For One marks Deku as a threat and a possible future vessel. Deku collapses and barely makes it back home. The doctors cannot save his arm, and he wakes up missing his left forearm and hand forever. The physical pain fades, but the guilt stays. Deku blames himself for being too slow and failing Tenko, even though he had the power and knowledge to stop it. What hurts him even more is how Hero Society reacts. The heroes arrive late and call it a simple quirk accident. No one looks deeper into what happened. No one stays to help. In that moment, Deku loses his faith in heroes. By the age of 6 or 7, Deku begins working in secret. He builds a rough prosthetic using black whip and metal parts. It hurts to use, but it allows him to fight. He trains every day, pushing one for all far beyond safe limits and turning his pain into strength. In public, Deku still acts quirkless. He keeps his head down and takes Bakugo's bullying without fighting back. At night, a masked figure appears in dangerous areas of the city. Villains are found beaten and broken, and rumors spread about a green shadow. Deku calls himself Zero because the system gave him and Tenko zero chances. He leaks information about corrupt heroes and illegal quirk deals to the press. He destroys small villain groups without mercy. At first, he avoids killing, but he never holds back. After the sludge villain incident, All Might notices him. Zero secretly helps from the shadows, and All Might believes he can still guide this boy back to the light. Deku agrees to enter UA, not out of hope, but to use its resources and get closer to All for One. At UA, Deku's quiet, cold, and extremely skilled. He dominates practically every exam, but never celebrates. Some classmates try to reach him, while others are afraid of him. Bakugo sees him as a rival that must be crushed. All for One moves faster than before. Shigaraki grows stronger and more hateful, driven by both Hero Society and the memory of the one-armed boy who tried to stop him. The League of Villains forms earlier, and with greater unity. In the USJ incident, Deku destroys Nomu almost by himself. During the Stain incident, he listens instead of fighting and lets Stain escape after hearing his beliefs. At Kamino, Deku fights All for One in secret and loses part of his right leg, leaving him with 2 prosthetics. During the war, Deku abandons the law completely and hunts League members one by one in brutal ambushes. Final battle is short and cruel. One-armed and one-legged, Deku faces a perfected Shigaraki controlled by All for One. He overloads Gear Shift and Fajin until his body nearly breaks. Deku wins and kills them without hesitation. The world is saved, but there's no celebration. Hero Society fears him. Some call him a true hero, while others see him as a monster. Deku disappears into the shadows forever, never forgiving himself and never smiling again. In the previous 2 timelines, we assumed Deku attempts to save Shigaraki before All for One takes over him. However, in this timeline, he makes a difficult decision. Deku's reborn with all his memories and powers. From the moment he opens his eyes, he remembers the war, All for One, and Tomura Shigaraki. He remembers the rainy street where everything went wrong, but this time, he doesn't rush to change it. Deku realizes something important. All for One was already watching Tenko. Any early interference would draw attention and put everyone in danger. A single wrong move could push Tenko even further into darkness. So Deku makes a painful decision. He does nothing. Tenko's tragedy happens just like before. His family dies, he wanders the streets, and All for One finds him. Deku knows the exact moment it happens, and the guilt stays with him every day. Still, he tells himself that saving the world must come before saving one child. During his childhood, Deku prepares in silence. He trains One for All in secret and masters his power completely. He studies All for One's allies, plans, and weaknesses. To everyone else, he looks like a normal, quirkless kid. In reality, he's preparing for war. At UA, Deku is calm and focused. He helps his classmates, but keeps his distance. At USJ, the Nomu is defeated quickly. At the sports festival, Deku wins and gains attention without revealing everything. During major events, he quietly gathers information and weakens All for One's influence from the shadows. Because Deku never interfered early, All for One never notices the danger. Heroes prepare sooner, international support arrives earlier, and when the war begins, Hero Society is ready. The final battle is fast and brutal. Deku faces Shigaraki without trying to save him. He knows it's too late. With overwhelming power and perfect control, Deku defeats both Shigaraki and All for One completely. The world is saved with far fewer losses. Deku becomes the #1 hero and the symbol of hope. People see his smile and believe in him. But when he's alone, Deku remembers the child he chose not to save. In this timeline, Deku saves the world and carries that choice forever.